seen this in Bere. We've seen this in Malava. Are we going to see the same in Ol'Kalau?
I think first you need to remember that I'm a member of DCP. And sometimes we sit at meetings that we plan a lot of things. But also when you are playing a game of cards, tumefika mahali, tunarusha, Ruto hana, tunamwambia uma mbili. Tunarusha hana, uma tatu. Tunarusha hana, uma ine. Sasa Ruto amejaza kadi kwa mkono. Sisi tunamwambia tuko kadi. Then he's telling us, nionyeshe kadi yako. I mean, we've played cards. Mimi niko kadi, unaniambia nikuonyeshe kadi yangu. What's wrong with you? I'm not going to show you my cards. DCP has an elaborate mechanism on how we want to protect our votes. Na hii ni kadi tunacheza. Alafu kuna kimutu kinaniambia nionyeshe. Tuko kadi, full stop. We know what we are doing. Wewe umeuma uko na kadi 12. You're trying to think of what to do with your 12 cards. We have our cards. Na tuko kadi, tunangoje uweke zako, we maliza the game. But also let me tell you this. The only place we are going to make an appeal to every Kenyan. If a win for the united opposition means something for you, support us as the DCP people on the ground in many ways than one. I like the fact that these people are given, and I wish you can see a video of what happened yesterday. Watu wanaenda wanachukua pesa ya UDA, wanakuja wanachangia DCP candidate. Because they know he needs fuel. They know he needs posters. The UDA candidates the UDA people spend a lot of time bringing down his banners and posters and everything. The people of Ol'Kalau are very clever. Wanaenda wanachukua pesa ya William Ruto. Wanakuja wanamchangia, wanamwekea billboard mpya na poster mpya. It tells you something about what we are doing. But also in terms of voter protection, the only thing we are going to release for now, because we can't tell you, sisi tuko kadi na tumeficha kadi zetu, is one. We need a lot of media coverage. We need a lot of cameras everywhere. Kila mtu ajitolee na simu yake. We want to record the shenanigans that this government is going to try and do. Because what has happened in the past is when we are arrested, our phones are confiscated and all those terrible things that happened to us. At the point of casting the vote, there's almost nothing that this government will do. Shida inatokea 6 p.m. when the polling station closes and the counting starts. Advocate Harrison Kenyanjui here is speaking about having agents. Who told you we've never had them? Who told you they've not been transmitting? The problem comes is when there is an invasion like what happened to us at a polling station in Bere, and they run everything out and they kick everybody out and they turn that polling station into their personal property.
And you're saying this time around you have a way to counter that?
That's why I'm saying, formally, you are thinking about protesting, which we have done many times. And I have told you the number of complaints that we have against this administration do not number less than 15.
My question, Fanyamambo, is you're saying this time around you have a way of countering that kind of action.
This is what we are
without even revealing
the first thing is, before we even have a conversation about countering, anybody who has got a recording device needs to be somewhere close to a polling station doing something called recording of the counting, of the police, of everything that is going on. That is the first thing. And we are asking our people, tukisha piga kura, there is no law against us being around there guarding our votes. We shall guard our votes.
You have, so you cannot be.
We shall not go in. Yes, we have the radius. That 400 is enough for us. Because within 400 meters, we are able to see who is going into that polling station. So what we are saying is, let this be free and fair. Let it be transparent. Hii maneno ingine tuachie. Sisi tuko kadi and we are not going to reveal to you what our cards are. Because they are waiting for Fanyamambo to come and say, tutafanya hii na hii na hii. Finally, Ndimuli. And this is a strategy I'm giving to every young person in this country. Again, there is no law against you losing your ID, okay? So what I'm telling you is to conveniently go, get an ID, forget where you placed it in the house. Go and apply for a new one, forget where you placed it conveniently until you have 10. Now, when you keep the 10 at home, wait, because the strategy of UDA is buying IDs.
No.
So every time, no. You know what? Every time they come, sell one, bakisha ya tisa, because they are buying our IDs.
That's criminal.
This administration that you're telling us to raise a formal complaint to has not investigated Wetima, our attacks in Kayole. You know,
but keep it on record. Keep it on record.
The thing
keep it on record.
We've gotten
a time will come when we'll need it.
I was in Kikuyu when we were beaten up by police and tear gas. I was in Mbere when a cabinet secretary raided a polling station at night and kicked us out like dogs, and we were scattered, and they counted what they wanted and they announced what they wanted. And you know yourself, you cabinet secretary, you who found us there, and what you did to us, shame on you. So when you come and tell me to go and report to this administration, I am wasting my time.
Even to the IEBC,
what
raising
for?
A formal
IEBC, look at EFECON.
About
EFECON, go and look at yourself in the mirror.
Voter bribery.
EFECON, go and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, when government moves around this place donating mattresses to people branded GOK.
No, make a complaint.
And hospitals.
Nyamambo, make a complaint. That is what we are going to use. We objectively outside of the game.
I'm just telling you that we have made complaints, and we are tired of complaints that have never been investigated. We got to a place we even gave them the troop number. This is the policeman, this is his troop number, this is his photo, this is the circle, this is the matatu, this is the registration. That matatu is still on the road. So why are you telling me to waste time, go and make a complaint? And I like what Raila Amolo Odinga used to do. He used to get to a point and you'd say, this is rubbish, let's go to the streets. Anyway, this is what I was coming to. When you discuss Ol'Kalau the way you're discussing, our Akili here says he's from Kondele. Kondele mumepoa mattress ngapi? You are saying the government is moving around giving the equal distribution. Kondele mumepoa gas cylinders ngapi? Kondele hiyo Kondele, the people of Kondele are not happy. Hata kiberiti ya mujapewa juu hakuna by election kwenyu. Are they? So let me tell you, let us be people who mean well for this country. In as much as we come and say we are part of a noble profession, the other advocates will be laughing at you and asking, huyu wakili anaongea juu ya nini akisema kwamba that Kisumu gets an allocation. You know, counties were given 400 and something billion. It was distributed, Kisumu got 14 billion. Nyandarua got 9 billion. And now they've been given another 10 billion, including a university and a railway line that Kisumu has not gotten. The first person who should be here up in arms and saying there is unfair distribution, the people of Kondele are not getting gas, the people of Kondele are not getting mattresses, the people of Kondele are not getting this, is himself. Okay. And now he's here praising our people being given these things, and it is unfair distribution of public resources.
One question. So are you saying that next week's by-election in Ol'Kalau is by no standard free and fair?
Of course it is not free and fair. But there's one thing we are going to do, and we are telling government this for free. The people of Ol'Kalau will cast their ballots. But number two, when counting begins, we will have our phones. Okay. We will record every counting of every ballot. The only time we will have a problem with this administration, let us put them on notice, if they stop us from recording the truth. Hapo we are drawing the line. So we will guard those votes. And by the way, there is no law against. In fact, people will vote, go home. When counting starts, we want a camera in every classroom.
Okay.
No.
Fred, I have to. While he's on that point,
we have to record.
Allow me to guide this.
Just one.
You're just interjecting.
Yeah, just one.
Very briefly.
Yeah. Because Fred, Fanyamambo, you said that you will guard your votes.
Yes.
Now, all this time that I saw you in Bear North,
yes,
you did not place a seal in one single ballot.
Okay.
Your
because
seal.
They're raising
you are beat.
We'll come back to that.
No. Hold on. Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
He said that they will guard the votes.
Yeah. I'll come to that issue of guarding.
There is more that is needed than the phone.
All right.
In Bere, we were kicked out.
Akili Nyamori. It's Bona Nyamori.
And they did everything they wanted.
We'll come back to you. That's a different issue. We'll come and discuss.
Now, it is important that I respond to my brother and let him know that, yes, Kisumu is very comfortable with the 14 billion it received, but also inform him that we have a RIAT University that is coming up at 8 billion shillings announced by the president. I also want to announce that the value of the SGR that is going on, work going on. We have almost 15 billion worth of, affordable housing programs that are going on.
Avoidable.
The president has launched, and there is work going on the blue economy that includes the PIA, the ports, that is amounting to 9 billion shillings. And so we have roads, going on all around our county. So basically what I'm trying to tell him,
is comfortable. Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell him, that we've never seen a better government delivery in Kisumu. as we are seeing under this regime. And that is why, you know, every time the Fanyamambo and his group have thought that Kisumu will jump onto their protests, we tell them no, we are busy because we are you know, trying to catch up. Well, at least the previous regimes, you know, especially the previous two regimes, took resources to one region.
That's a lie.
This regime denied us those resources. This regime has actually ensured that we are, you know, benefiting, just like Ol'Kalau and Dagoretti are benefiting. So my point is that in this by-election, the opposition is going to lose. It is going to lose because they have, for a long time, focused on, you know, just thinking about ethnicity. You know, trying to manufacture outrage and hate, and not speaking to what they are able to do. To date, I'm still waiting for the opposition leaders to give us any you know, development program that they will implement that is different or better than what President
we will not kill young people
is giving, beyond spreading ethnic rhetoric and spreading hate. You know, I would encourage Fanyamambo to realize that just like they have failed in the previous by-elections, they will fail in these by-elections as a demonstration that Kenyans have moved forward and Kenyans will work with President William Ruto. And let him join us if you want.
Let's not talk about strategy. Let's not talk about strategy. About protecting the vote, about the strategy the government has employed. We've really focused on what the government is doing, and UDA and the Kenya Kwanza and their bombardment of development projects there. But what is the opposition doing, or what is the DCP, which has a candidate there, doing? You questioned their record.
Sure, I did. Thank you very much. I was very shocked and surprised that the outcome of the judicial intervention, the election petition that was filed, in spite of the overwhelming evidence. And I heard the judge say that, well, you know, yeah, of course, there were all these offenses that were committed. And I'll ask the IEBC and the other responsible entities to investigate. I thought after finding that all that happened, he should nullify the election. He didn't nullify. Ditto, likewise in Malava. All of that, we saw a bloodied person, candidate, was out there. And that is electoral violence. I mean, this is a criminal offense. Then you say, oh, you know, everything went okay. So I have to question the judiciary. I mean, like, where is the integrity of these? They don't want to, as it were, rock the boat and bring in some political disequilibrium. Because going to the vote, in all honesty, would have resulted in the loss of the UDA candidate in Barren North. The bribery that was openly going on there, it was never punished, unpunished, wholly unpunished. And what I think my learned friend is trying to justify is indefensible. The so-called goodies that are being supplied in Ol'Kalau right now, I mean, to every sane person, it is voter bribery. And I'm going to be very curious. And whatever the outcome will be, although I perceive my own self, the DCP candidate will trump the UDA blue-eyed person. And after the election, whatever the outcome, will the UDA buffs and mandarins and go and then say, hey, bring back the mattress, bring back the tanks that we had to transport from Barren North to come and, you know, try to blind you to vote for our candidate. Oh, these electric poles, I think we need to pull them. Will they do that? I suppose they will do that, because this is a hypocritical government. Now, to answer Nyamori, if I were out there doing it, I would just lay out my blueprint right now and tell them them that this is my blueprint. Like in Angola, Dos Santos, in his family, facing the judiciary, I would have all of you face the judiciary. If you've stolen a penny, and if you can go and pump 10 billion in Ol'Kalau without any accountability, I will have you jailed. And I will also have your assets. And you in the EACC, and you in the administration, and the DPP, if you are part of these, and you are privy into these sort of connivance and shenanigans, try to suppress the truth, and the Kenyan people to know that this is a criminal in a political space, I will also jail you.
In just a minute.
I'll roll that out. Yes. And I'll tell them, I'm going to roll that out within the shortest period of time. And I'm going to get the honest people, most honest people in the judiciary to ensure that that happens. And the surgery that happened, the radical surgery in the Kibaki period, I'll tell the JSE, if you are unable to sweep the house off the judiciary, I will also have you taken care of. That power belongs to the people.
All right.
And the Kenyan people are tired and fed up. And I'll tell them, I'm going to roll this out. And I'm going to try and transform completely the agricultural sector. I will ban the GMOs. And I'll tell the Kenyan people, I want you healthy. And I want to reduce the price of food. Because I want the Kenyan people to go to work full, healthy, and able to work. Then, and I'm going to tell them, after every 5 p.m., I want you to happy. All these people in the entertainment industry, mimi nataka mcheke. Nyote mcheke, muona furaha. Hiyo stress yote ya kazi muache. Na mimi hiyo kodi yenu ambao nawatoza, mimi ningependa nitumie hiyo kodi jinsi mnaona. And I'll get all these foreign nations to tell them, look, I want you to disclose to me how much money has this president gone to pump out there in terms of foreign accounts. I want the money back here.
Hold that thought, Wakili.
That would be my rollout. And I'll tell the Kenyan people, vote for me. This is what I want to happen. I want to change your life.
My question was still about the strategy that the DCP is employing in Ol'Kalau, because we focused a lot on what UDA is doing.
It has as Kenyans to abolish that nonsense called a budget reading process. It is now nonsense. It must be abolished. How can you have 10 billion being available for Ol'Kalau post-budget? It was not budgeted for. It was not included in the budget. It was not read in the budget. It is now being spent in Ol'Kalau. So what was this waste of our time and energy, taking people to parliament and carrying our emotions to read a piece of paper that is useless? Because the reason why nations make budgets, and I dare submit to you, nations that use common sense read budgets, is because they follow them. Now tell me where 10 billion for Ol'Kalau is coming from if it was not provided for in the budget. 10 billion is not 2 shillings. Number two, most of our hospitals, and I invite you to go to Nakuru, women, 3 of them are sharing a bed, giving birth. Na hii serikali imechukua mattresses, branded GOK. They are being given to men and women who have always slept on a mattress somehow in Ol'Kalau. Shame on this administration. Shame on you 10 million times. Why are you giving people mattresses in a country where men and women are sharing hospital bed? And Kenyatta hapa, they don't even allow you to carry a camera. You can't take a video, you can't take a photo. Because I have experienced going to wards where people are sharing three people, 1 bed. Now wanapeana mattresses Ol'Kalau. Shame on this administration. I think there is nothing called electoral offenses. IEBC, look at yourself in the mirror and feel thoroughly ashamed. There is nothing like an electoral offense. If what is happening in Ol'Kalau, nothing amounts to what you'd call an electoral offense, then there is nothing like electoral offenses. Because this is outright open voter bribery by this administration. Why do we have permanent secretaries? And why do we have ministers, or do you call them cabinet secretaries in this country? That they have stopped everything. They are not serving the rest of Kenyans. They are now based in Ol'Kalau. Wametafutiwa hoteli, they wanaishi huko. Wengine wanaishi Naivasha. They wake up every morning to go and serve Ol'Kalau, because 1 seat for this administration is more important than the whole republic. You've seen the CS for energy and the many other CSs. They've been told to stop every other government business, that nobody else in this country is important. The only important person is Ol'Kalau. So there's a CS who is supposed to serve the 50 million Kenyans. That CS has been designated to serve Ol'Kalau until the by-election is over. That is bad. But take it further. Wamepatiwa mtungi ya gas, ya kotu, ya purple color. That gas cannot be refilled anywhere else. We have not seen any other purple mtungi. I dare submit to Kenyans, go look for somebody to paint for you green or any other color that is available in the market. This administration is committing a very serious offense on what is supposed to have been the responsibility of Kenyans. What is the value of a vote? Malava, by the way, watu wa Malava munafaa mkasirike sana, na inafaa irudiwe kwenyu. How can they give you kiberiti, chumvi, I don't know, mattress, blanketi na mwiko, and you see the things that are being given to the people of Ol'Kalau? Kweni kura ya Malava is worth less than kura ya Ol'Kalau. Ati unapewa chumvi, no, unapewa chumvi na kiberiti, na kuna mtu anapatiwa mattress imebrandiwa GOK. There is no equality before the law. But finally, think about it this way, Ndimuli. And that's why some of us cannot contain ourselves when we start thinking about how terrible this administration has gotten. Now, it has gotten to a point where every other thing has stopped. The people of Mbere, and this I have verified, transformer ya Njura, Shiagera, Kirangiri, Rwanjeru, and Nguthi pale Kanyambora, zote zimeng'olewa. Zimepelekwa wapi? Ol'Kalau. Yani nyinyi Mbere walimaliza na nyinyi, sasa wamewanyang'anya transformer.
Are you suggesting that after the by-elections,
zitang'olewa,
depending on whether they win or lose?
No, if it's needed for another by-election, can you imagine you give people a transformer, leave them in the blackout, and then unapeleka transformer huko?
Based on facts, evidence, and law. And I've listened to my brother Fanyamambo, and I asked him that let politics not take him away from certain principles in our profession. One is that they have a problem that the government is working. What I've seen there are, PSS and other government officials undertaking their responsibility to deliver services to Kenyans. When he says that the 10 billion is not budgeted, it is important to tell us what was budgeted, if that is not budgeted, okay? And tell us where that is coming from. My view is that the government of President William Ruto is delivering across the country. The CEO for Kenya Railways was in Kisumu to actually have the contractors start the work of what the president launched the other day of construction of the SGR. We have work going on in the blue economy, and the minister, the CS for roads, Chirchir, has been visiting us every other day. He was recently inspecting the road from Mamboleo to Chemelil. So basically what's happening is that the media is now focusing on Ol'Kalau. And so somebody would imagine that there's no work going on across the country. As the rest of the country, we are happy that as we are receiving boats for blue economy, our brothers in Ol'Kalau, who also have a smaller water, water body, also have boats. That when we are receiving fingerlings, they are also receiving fingerlings. We do not want to be as selfish as Fanyamambo, who believes that only probably his constituency should receive development.
He has not
the issue is that elements in the opposition are afraid that because government delivery is quite demonstrable in Ol'Kalau, just like it is demonstrable in the rest of the country, they have no agenda to sell. And that the agenda they have been selling, which is ethnicity and hate, is collapsing as we see government programs going on.
The question is, Wakili, is this purely coincidental, or should this kind of action or government intervention in an area that is days away from a by-election should be seen as an attempt at voter bribery?
No.
Should be an electoral
the question is, did PS Wachira there give conditions for delivery of electricity lines and so on to delivery of votes to the UDA candidate? No, he simply went there to undertake his responsibility. Unless we are saying that the citizens who are residents of Ol'Kalau are lesser human beings, and they should not. The issue is the opposition is trying to explain the eminent failure that they are going to face in Ol'Kalau, just as they have faced in all the by-elections. The reality is that this by-election is going to prove that Fanyamambo and his group are no match the president, even in areas where they think
and we'll come to
that they control.
Are not living up to the bill. Very sad. The EACC is doing nothing. The IEBC is doing nothing. Our criminal jurisprudence front is equally doing nothing. Our courts, majority of them are failing. And I always say, I highly respect very hardworking, very diligent, very committed, very faithful, very patriotic judges and magistrates. They are there. Very committed. They are not in that group of the corrupt, the indifferent, and totally unsupportive of the Kenyan people, judicial officers. Having said that, why do I say so? In Malaba, we witnessed political violence, the sort of thing that Fanyamambo is speaking about. How do you stone this expensive motor vehicle with a good conscience and go home and find sleep at 3 a.m.? I can't bring myself to it. But let's go back to what the National Assembly did to the Kenyan people. Without blinking, they passed the Conflict of Interest Act. Section 25, subsection 1, says that now the cabinet secretaries, now every public officer is prohibited from taking sides in the delivery of their public service. However, they accepted cabinet secretaries. Now, in that classification, the PS does not fall. If you look at section 25, subsection 1, it only exempts the cabinet secretary, which was actually not there before in the Public Officers Ethics Act, which the National Assembly repealed, took away with its very wide scope of application of the protections that the Kenyan people would be having now, were it not for the removal. These shenanigans going on now wouldn't happen. Now let's go to Ol'Kalau. What are the registered voters numbers there? They're about 73, or at least by the previous register of registered voters, 73,000, 72,997. The question is this: if the government gets those purple colored gas cylinders, and I don't know if they are full, and I don't know if they have any gas in them, or someone is going to ignite and find, or it was just the last bit of the embers that they will burn in that, I don't know. But I heard someone say there are only 20,000. Now, compare that with the registered voters. If they were really keen on, promoting their goodwill that Joshua is speaking of and telling us that, President Ruto's government is very caring of its own people. And then the Ol'Kalau people are somehow exempted from every other whatever that is applying to every other constituency. And now they are a very special class of the Kenyan people. Let's be real. The politics of it is that the government, the UDA government, the Kenya Kwanza government is so apprehensive about the tables turning and what this portends for the 2027 election. That's why they are pouring everything and anything that they can in order to ensure that they do not lose this seat. And there is another dimension which is very worrisome and which I find that the IEBC is very quiet about. And there have been murmurs about, which in my view they should have investigated, the IEBC should have investigated, that there are these politicians and former politicians and dying politicians whose careers have withered. They have now gone and camped in Ol'Kalau. And Fanyamambo says that, well, they are there, they are known to be moving from this residency in the constituency and going back. I mean, they don't have any other task other than to ensure that they have bought the IDs. That is voter suppression. Voter suppression. That means that when you exclude someone from voting because you have either withheld their ID or locked their ID in a certain way that they cannot use it during the election, is a criminal offense. It is an electoral offense. And so I would have expected that immediately this was done, and probably it is them who are more directly affected, who should be lamenting and complaining, and I don't know if they have lodged or DCP has lodged any complaint about that specific issue. Forget about the voter bribery, because they can deny. Although we heard someone saying that I spent 1.2 million over the weekend. You know, I heard an MP, a sitting MP, saying that sort of thing. This is what I explained in Ol'Kalau. That is voter bribery. Forget about that. Now, voter suppression is a thwarting, it is a diversion, it is a whittling of the democratic process of the people that are there. So the active voter suppression actions should be punished. Going forward, what does it entail us? That these are likely criminal offenses that are likely to be carried out by the state so as to entrench itself, thwart the Kenyan people. And then the voice that has been recalcitrant, been ongoing there in Ol'Kalau, is that you have a one term. And then they receive these goodies as it were, and Fanya Mambo is asking, where did you get the 10 billion from? Accountability. As accountability. So as I close, let me say this. The Kenyan people look up to these institutions, the commissions, the independent commission, the EACC that I mentioned, and let me not belabor that. And then what do they receive in return? Disappointment, disenchantment, and disillusionment. How do you expect that person that you have now driven to that edge of hopelessness, when this institution that is being funded by their taxes is doing the exact opposite,
but the question,
ameliorating the evil?